Hakuna serikali ya nusu mkate.
Of course we went, okay, he called for another PG, he apologized. Then we went for the campaign.
Muliambiwa iko mahali ya kuweka sahihi. Muliambiwa kuna mahali itapigwa muhuri. Mulipiga kura, hamukupiga kura. Sisi tunawaambia kotini ya kwamba wenye kuamua rais wa Kenya ni wa Kenya hawa, sio kotini.
And it was still better to win and be in the side of government than to bring everything to an end. So really, and even if we wanted, it was too late because it's a repeat election. But it was not necessary at that point. Tactfully, it was better to suffer inside than, not to be anywhere near administration or government.
Tutawaomba Wakenya tena wajitokeze. Tutawaomba kura yao tarehe 17. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba mzee huyu sasa tumupeleke nyumbani, asikuja kusumbua Ruto 2022.
Following the rerun of the election, Uhuru Kenyatta secured his re-election as President of Kenya, with Ruto continuing as his deputy. However, Raila Odinga, the leader of the opposition, chose not to take part in the repeat poll and instead launched an enthusiastic campaign against the government. On January 30th, 2018, he informally took oath as the people's president, a position that does not exist in the Kenyan constitution. Kenyatta had woken up from a somewhat slumberland to find his political kingdom of central Kenya raided. This left him wounded. His central Kenya allies had lost elections. This is William Samoei Arap Ruto, the president of Kenya. He's just 56 years old, but now commands Kenya's defense forces. He says he wants to become a legitimate modern leader.
I believe in engagement. I believe in working with people. That's why I'm taking time to explain myself, I don't think there is any other president who has explained himself the way I do, because I want to persuade the people of Kenya. I don't want to impose things on people. I want them to understand.
This is the inside story of how he got here.
William Ruto never rests. Very focused in his work and a go-getter. Keen listener and somebody who is very quick to identify and tap onto other people's talents and skills. William Ruto is one of a very rare breed of leaders who knows that he does not know everything.
And how the combined forces of Kenyatta and Odinga failed to stop him.
I think William Ruto demystified deep state and its usefulness in political contests. And that actually you can have a deep state that is not very deep. And that is the tragedy of Raila Odinga.
From his soldiers and his rivals,
and I'll tell you why William Ruto was not a strong candidate.
The maddening campaign.
Nikuzimia ama ni Kenya kwanza? Nikuzimia ama ni UDA? Harambee!
To the house on the hill.
I, William Samoei Ruto, I assume as President of Kenya,
of the Republic of Kenya,
do swear
This country does not belong to William Ruto. Doesn't belong to the president. Doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to all of us. We are here. We will fly together or we will crash together.
By the time Kenyans were going to the ballot in 2022, 4 men had ruled over Kenya since it gained independence in 1963. A beautiful landscape far east of the African continent. Kenya's 4th president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was in his final term.
The court was over his various properties as faculty of the legislative administration.
The first 3 were men at the center of Kenya's post-independence government, while Uhuru Kenyatta was the scion of the country's first president, Jomo Kenyatta. A term was created to describe these royal lineages, dynasties, and they were united in support of Raila Odinga, Kenya's former prime minister, who happens to be the son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenya's first vice president. Raila Odinga making his 5th attempt at the presidency was endorsed by Uhuru Kenyatta. Also in the camp, Gideon Moi, son of Kenya's 2nd president.
Tarehe 10 asubuhi mwezi wa 8, wakati tunakumbusha kwamba jogoo wa shamba hawezi kuwika mjini.
Ningo mjambo. Kabarnet Chamgei. Kabarnet Chamgei. Uamone. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
But as the African nation searched for the 5th president, the so-called dynasties were facing the greatest threat ever to their rule.
Shame on you. You will not succeed.
A rebel group from the president's Jubilee party had risen from the shadows.
Watu watembee wasitembee. Wakanyage kubwa kubwa, wasikanyage kubwa kubwa.
Led by Kenyatta's deputy William Ruto, their political commander. Despite facing a formidable group oiled with government resources, Ruto now had enough soldiers to lay siege to the presidency. He was no longer hiding in the darkness, fighting from anonymity.
When things were extremely difficult for us, we would retreat at his official residence in Karen, and when it was all dark and you thought you were coming to an end, he would just sit you down and tell you, guys, relax. We are okay. There is a God in heaven.
7 days we will send them home and the people of Kenya will live together in harmony. We are going to vote together.
He engaged in combat under the open sky.
Tulitengeneza serikali 2013, tukatengeneza serikali 2017. Ati tumekosa mtu ya kutuongoza mpaka wanaenda kukodesha mtu ya kitendawili ati aongoze sisi. Hiyo ni madharau ama si madharau?
He was that deputy president who faced head on his boss when they are still actively in office.
Ongebe na majivuno yako yamekwisha sasa.
The Dynasty's camp had nothing to fear.
Ulipotoka shamba kuingia mjini, mimi nimekuona, uwezi kunitisha.
At least that is how it looked.
Kujikoa mikoko na kudharau wenzio, wewe umeonyeshwa adabu na heshima.
After all, they had everything needed to hold on to power.
Mimi nataka niwahakikishie tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 saa 5 usiku, rais wa 5 atakuwa Raila Amolo.
They didn't just have the support of the reigning president. Government ministers, including Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the powerful minister for Interior, were at their beck and call.
Watu ya Kericho, wacha niwaambie nyinyi ukweli. Tumetembea katika nchi yote. Tumeenda huko Pwani, tumeenda huko Western, tumeenda huko Nyanza, tumeenda huko Northeastern, tumeenda Ukambani. Hii uchaguzi ya 2022 hii ya mwezi ujao, hii imeenda. Hii imeenda. Hii imeenda kabisa. Hii imeenda. Hii imeenda. Hii imeenda.
Sometimes it is good to look at our history and appreciate that history. And indeed, 2022 was for Baba to win.
There was a motivation of what can we do? How much can we do to bring down a president and a former prime minister? You know, there was some, there's a Goliath. You know, if you fail this Goliath, it's a big, huge thing. So there was a good time. I mean, new politicians were doing experiments. Some of us who had never played a critical role in successions before were telling ourselves, this Kenyatta 2 succession, we must be at the center of it. We want to know what can be able to do.
My friend, Bwana Rais, yani umetupima. Sisi watu milioni 10 tumesimama na wewe.
But it seems William Arap Ruto had envisaged these scenarios long before they came and had countermeasures for almost each one of them.
Ngoja.
It was a good chance. Baba was blinded by the mirage of the deep state. I think Baba believes a word that is put forth to him. He's a gentleman. When he promises, he delivers. And he expects the same, that if you promise him something, you deliver. He believed the word of Uhuru Kenyatta. But Uhuru Kenyatta was not as honest and innocent as he was. He was not honest to tell Baba, yes, I'm supporting you, but I don't have the capacity.
The ground is gone.
The ground is gone. He didn't say that. All they kept on saying is that Kikuyus will change. The last minute they will change. The last minute they will change. Until the last minute.
To understand this, we go back to the times before the 2013 presidential election. During this time, William Ruto was among the country's creme de la creme.
Tunafungua ukurasa mpya katika taifa letu la Kenya,
as far as politics is concerned.
And we have come here because of URP and TNA.
In fact, he was among top political figures eyeing the presidency, the highest office in the land.
Hebu nione kwa mikono. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Nione. Amina.
Others included Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Deputy Prime Ministers Uhuru Kenyatta and Musalia Mudavadi, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. In the 2012-2013 campaigns, William Ruto began actively engaging with Uhuru Kenyatta's faction, forging connections with emerging young leaders from the Mount Kenya region. It seemed that Ruto recognized the importance of securing support from this politically influential area, realizing that aligning himself with the region's key figure was a highly promising strategy in his pursuit of the presidency. In the realm of politics, Raila Odinga emerged as a prominent figure, poised to succeed Mwai Kibaki as the next president. He garnered widespread recognition as the leading candidate in the upcoming presidential election. Nevertheless, coalitions had garnered substantial significance following the victory of the National Rainbow Coalition led by Mwai Kibaki over KANU in the 2002 elections. Ruto acknowledged that he was akin to a young lion who had not yet found his full roar.
Tumekuja Nakuru katikati ya Kenya. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na tumekuja Nakuru hapa kutangaza wa Kenya kuanza safari ya kutembea pamoja.
As the